What does cultural diversity mean for us? Hey, discussion with Teacher Ray. If I talk too fast, let me know. It's one of my worst habits when I'm nervous. Okay. So let's go back to this question. What is cultural diversity? This is when you can all speak out. No need to raise hands, whatever, just talk. What is cultural diversity? Dashi, what is cultural diversity?
For me, teacher, whenever I hear cultural diversity, it means that I'm the difference in every culture. Like,
Exactly, the difference. That's perfect. That's a nice explanation. Nice. Anybody else have anything? Anyone else have any like examples of cultural diversity? How would my culture be different than yours? Most of you live in the Philippines, right?
That's true.
I live in the desert in the United States. How is my culture different, do you think?
I think that we have different practices
Right?
from
We have
where
different
you are
practices.
and where we are.
Mhm.
Yes,
What else?
different beliefs,
Different
different
beliefs.
ethnic backgrounds. Yes,
Mhm.
yeah,
That's true.
Customs, traditions.
Right.
yes.
Different customs, different traditions, right? So what is like a basic thing that every single country seems to have kind of different?
Food.
Food.
Food. Big difference, right? Most countries have like a main kind of cultural foods that are common or typical to that country. Same with our kids in China, right? Most of them eat, now some of your foods are probably similar, mine are not. Rice, right? Fish, a lot of rice and fish, right? And vegetables, right? What's typical in the Philippines? What are typical foods?
Food that are high
That's
in carbohydrates.
cholesterol foods,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah. Filipinos love to eat. So yeah, we have a wide variety of food you know choices. So
Nice. So think about that. I mean, food is a nice example of the way different cultures are. So just remember that. So I live in the west of the United States, right? Melly lives in the east. Just between the west and the east, there are so many differences in foods, culture, lifestyle, daily life. Now take a state or just a general area or a province. If you live in this part of your city or this part of your state, your culture is going to be different than if you live in this part. The same goes for our kids, our students. Just because the child is Chinese does not mean that that child eats this, does this, lives this way, and believes this. Because every single child is different. Every family unit is basically its own culture, at least in my opinion. So that's kind of the way I approach this. So here we go. Our teachers and students are from different countries and therefore have very different cultures. However, just as not all native English speakers are the same, not all Chinese people or students are the same. Each and every student is a culturally diverse individual. As culturally aware teachers, that's us. We need to avoid applying Chinese stereotypes to our students. Let me introduce some of my students. Okay. Rabbit. Rabbit lives in Beijing with her mother, stepfather, twin baby brothers. She also just learned that her father and stepmother will be having a new baby soon. So what do you know about Chinese culture, Chinese law, and multiple children? That doesn't sound Chinese, does it? But it is. Just because what we believe to be something true in China doesn't mean it's true. China ended its one-child policy in 2015. And divorce rates in the country have climbed every year since 2012. So what we think about a place is not necessarily true. Tiger. Tiger plays basketball with his friends at the park every day and has a large, I mean huge collection of toys, cars, and Lego building sets. Every single lessons he's pulling out a brand new Lego. Now he has like Star Wars and it's like he has Legos like piled up on the walls. Tiger also loves to play video games. I think Minecraft is his favorite right now. So, students in China are always doing homework, right? They don't have any time for toys and games. No. They're always doing homework. That's all they ever do. The poor kid. Not true. Toy sales in China have risen almost 20% per year since 2012. And digital gaming has become so popular that China's Ministry of Education is considering laws that will restrict online access and create playtime limits for children. So it sounds like they're just as much of a problem there as they are in the United States, and I would assume in the Philippines as well. Children spending too much time with computer games, right?
Yeah, that includes my kids.
True.
Right. I don't have kids. I have nieces and nephews, and I've heard. Yes, big problem. Sunny. Hello, Sunny. Sunny is 8 years old and plays the piano. I've been teaching Sunny. Okay, so this slide is about 4 or 5 months old. So I've been teaching this child for probably almost a year. I still don't know if Sunny's a boy or a girl. And that's okay. In the last 15 years, LGBT people have become much more visible in China, according to the Foreign Policy Group. So therefore, so is transgender, etc., all of the different gender and sexual orientations. So it doesn't matter. We teach the kid the same. It doesn't matter if the child's a boy or a girl, or if the child identifies as such or likes boys or girls, whatever. It doesn't matter because we're teaching English. We teach the same words. We're just careful not to say he or she if we're not sure, so we don't hurt anybody's feelings. Sky. Sky is excellent at sports, bad at math. He goes to bed at 9:30 on school nights and gets up at 6:45 a.m. But he likes to stay up late and sleep in on the weekends. So what you hear about the Chinese kids being up all night and oh my gosh, these lessons are so late at night. No wonder the children are so tired they can't do their... not necessarily true. I mean, our lessons are what, 6, 7, 8 o'clock? That's not that late at night. A 2015 study finds that pre-high school age children, so like up to age 13, 14, in urban areas of China average 9 hours of sleep a night. That's better than American kids. I don't know about Philippine kids. The kids in the Philippines, do they get 9 hours a night?
That would depend on their activities.
Right, 9 hours is a long time, right? Some kids are up late, like playing video games when they're supposed to be sleeping.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Here we have our last little student. This is Elsa. Elsa loves to eat at McDonald's. Elsa and I. Yes. And KFC, Kentucky Fried Chicken. Her favorite foods are pizza, ice cream, and chips or French fries, depending on where you learn English. And I am right on with her. Her and I have very long discussions about pizza and ice cream. According to the South China Morning Post, China's childhood obesity rate is the highest in the world. This trend is partially blamed on the rising availability of processed foods. Ouch. So it looks like this is becoming an issue in China, as it has been in the United States for a long time. Is it an issue in the Philippines with children? Yes, no? Someone said you love food, but that doesn't necessarily mean obesity. Is it a problem with
there was actually a saying before that Filipino people in general are overfed but undernourished. That's the only
Ah,
Undernourished.
problem we have
oh,
here.
that's sad. That's sad. We need to be overnourished and overloved.
I like
Okay.
that.
Elsa's one of my favorite kids. So, individual culture, that's how I look at it. I try not to look at these as being Chinese students. These are my kids. These are kids. This is Tiger. This is Elsa. This is Sunny. This is not a group of Chinese students. These are people, human, individual people. And every single one of them has an individual culture. The point that I'm trying to make is not that we should ignore our students' Chinese culture. For teachers that follow the colorblind approach often find themselves blind to the needs of their students. Sorry, I had to throw that in there. What I'm saying is that I believe being culturally aware teachers is having this ability to see beyond the obvious culture of our students' nationality in order to treat each of them as a culturally diverse individual. As Yasmin Abdel Majid, a Muslim mother, oil rig worker, and former boxer, illustrates in a TED Talk presentation, initial perceptions of an individual's culture can often be very wrong. I've included like a list of citations for all of these references I made. You've got to watch this TED Talk. It's awesome. It's really good. Okay. Back to you. I want an example from hopefully each of you. How are your students culturally diverse? Just one way you can think of that your students are culturally diverse. Anybody? Really, I get crickets. Not seriously. Think of one kid you can think of that stands out as being. Think of your favorite student. How are they different?
Can I say something? Okay. Well, Kevin is one of my regular students. So his mom is actually going back and forth in Venice, Venice.
Wow.
So yeah. So I think she works for. I mean, her employer is from another country, like a foreign country. But although she didn't disclose it, but. I've been working with Kevin for quite a while now, probably over 6 months now. Well, the kid is progressing. He's really good at English, and he's very very enthusiastic. But every time we talk about food, he will talk about KFC. He will talk about McDonald's. So he can actually relate to several American brands.
Right. So it's
Uh,
not all rice and fish.
no,
Right?
no, no. But I really enjoy watching him eating while we're having class. I really don't mind, as long as he won't lose his focus. Yes.
Right. A
So
lot of my
and
students eat during their lessons too. Some of my lessons are during their dinner time. So of course, you know.
yes, yes, that's right. So I think I find him culturally diverse and not just
Right. So
um,
you're already noticing that just because a student's Chinese doesn't mean that all Chinese stereotypes fit that particular child. Nice.
Yes,
Nice.
yes, and he knows how. I mean, we talked about video games like Minecraft, Mobile Legends. I don't know if that's available in China, but he's aware of.
Minecraft is a popular game with most of my students. I don't know about
Okay,
Mobile Treasures. I don't know about Mobile,
our
but
mobile
Minecraft is.
Mobile Legends. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, Mobile is a American toy company? Yes? No? Mobile, right?
Uh-huh, yeah.
Yeah, I've heard of it.
Oh,
I used to have little toys when I
the,
was a kid. Yeah, Guy. Wait, no, that wasn't Guy. Who was talking? Where'd he go?
that was actually me. I just
That was you. Okay, go.
pointed it out in chat what that game is.
Oh, okay. Cool. I can't see
Yes.
chat because I have the screen pulled up. Cool. So Guy, come back here. What can you tell me? How are your students culturally diverse?
Well, apparently, a lot of them are finding ways how to access YouTube, which I know they are kind of it's illegal in China. So it's pretty smart of them actually. And some of them are we connect through sports. Apparently, some of them also follow the NBA.
Oh, nice.
Uh,
Basketball. Cool.
yeah, so well, we were
Cool.
even talking about one finals game, who were their bets, who were not their bets. It was a pretty interesting discussion.
That's cool. I had a student who was talking to me during the lesson about VPNs, right? And I'm like,
Yeah.
shh, shh, you're not allowed to stop. Shh, don't talk about that. And he just started laughing because
Oh,
he was
that's an
talking
illegal
about how they
topic?
could use, well, the lessons are recorded, you know,
Oh, yeah, that's true. Yeah.
and you're not supposed to use VPN. So, but I was teasing him and he just started laughing. He's very, very technical. Like he's teaching me how to do things with my Mac. So his English isn't as great. So he's like trying to tell me how to do things without using Chinese. It's kind of funny. How about Christy Mode? Can you tell me a way that your students are culturally diverse? I put you on the spot.
Yes. um, Most of my students are low levels.
Oh, so you have littles.
So
Oh,
yes,
fun.
we cannot communicate that deeply. They couldn't share anything. So I didn't find anything yet as of now. Maybe
You
soon
will
as
as
we
yeah, as you
progress.
get to know them better. Yeah, as you get to know
Yes.
them better and just watch how they act, what kind of toys they have, things like that. You'll catch up. You'll pick it up.
Yes,
I love
because
the little ones. The littles are fun.
yes, because as of now, I find them like the typical Chinese culture. Because I don't have you don't have a chance to, yeah, maybe afterwards when
Yeah,
they can communicate well
when
and
it's
share
when they
things
can
to
more
me.
tell yeah, when they can tell you more in depth what they like, what
Yeah.
they don't like, what they do, etc. Nice. Thank you, Christy. How about you, Jen? Jen Bourne, right? Oh, you have to
Jenny Morn.
there you go.
Oh yeah,
Jenny,
I have
sorry.
to unmute it. Yes. Actually, my students are like the beginners too, and they're young, and most of them are the typical Chinese kids. I have this one student who's a teenager, and I think he's like an intermediate student, and he loves watching English movies. So she's into this superhero thing. So we often talk about Spider-Man, something like that, and the latest movies coming up. So
Cool.
she really loves those movies.
And that's actually a great way for her to learn English too, watching the
Yes.
American movies. Yeah, that's cool. Nice. Thank you. You found an example. Thank you. Who else? How about Chris Ken? I'm probably massacring the pronunciation. Are you there? I can see the name, but I cannot see a person.
Oh, is
How
it me?
about?
He has a class.
He's asking
Oh,
me
okay.
right
He's
now.
not here. He's in class. How
Yes.
about
Yes, he
Rod?
has a class. Oh, me. Okay, I think. All right. So I think I can say that my students are culturally diverse by just the way how they interact with me, because it's really different. Each of them has different interactions. So
Right.
some
They
of
behave
them are,
differently, right?
yes,
Some
their
are more
behavior. So the way,
outgoing, right?
yes, some of them are going, and some of them are really shy, and some of them are really hyperactive. I don't
Yes.
know.
Hanging upside down. And yes, I love
Yes.
it. That's
That's
great. That's a good example. I like it, Rod. That's cool. Yeah, they're
thank
very,
you.
their behaviors are very different. They're not all like these nice, perfectly behaved, sit straight. No. We have some, of course. Some of our students are like that, right? But there's a very wide variety of their behaviors and how they behave. And that is cultural because they learn from a very young age how to behave in a classroom. So that is another cultural issue. That is an awesome example. Thank you, Rod. How about, I'm looking off to the side because the list of your pictures are over here. I apologize. How about Krichel? Did I say that
Oh,
correctly?
yes, Chriselle.
Krichel, thank you.
Actually, it's the same with Christy. I have a low level student, so they don't really, show or communicate well. So I don't have any those kind of students yet.
Okay. Okay. You will. You will. As they get older and as they get more comfortable, and as you teach them every single week, you'll see more and more of these differences. You'll learn to watch for them, and you'll start to see them. Like Rod's talking about how they act and how they behave are all cultural things. And what they're eating, I mean, you can probably see some of the moms feeding the kid from off camera, right?
Yes, exactly.
Whereas other kids are eating by themselves and other kids would not eat in class ever. That's
Mhm.
cultural. That's
Nice.
individual cultural. Some parents don't feel it's polite for the student to eat in class. Other parents feel that their kid has to eat no matter what's going on. That's cultural. That's a cultural thing because they learned it from their parent and from their parent and from their parent. So that's another cultural issue. So you do see that in class. It's just not obvious. Some of the things are just not obvious. Am I missing any teachers here? Should I throw Melly in the boat?
Sure. I was trying to think. I had a little student. He loved the NBA as well. He was always like, "Oh, how's LeBron James?" Like I knew him personally. It was really. He would know the scores of games that I was like, "Oh, I haven't watched basketball in 10 years," but he knew all the players, and it was impressive. It was
So were you over here Googling going,
well, I knew LeBron James because I grew up in near Akron, so I
well,
did
no,
know
but I
him.
mean for the scores, are you like,
Yeah, exactly. And he played
I,
American football, which I thought was
wow,
interesting. Like there's a league in Beijing that's pretty popular. I had no idea about, so that was
that is different because
yeah,
most of my kids, when you say football, they're talking about soccer.
yeah. I guess it's popular in a couple
Yeah,
cities. So
most of mine are talking about soccer when they say football. So I have to like draw the, oh, and I'm very bad at drawing with the mouse in class. Oh my goodness. My footballs look like eggs. And I'm talking about the American football. It's not supposed to look like an egg. So the students just laugh at me. But I always have to draw it to tell whether they're talking about soccer or football because Americans are weird and we have to have different names. Okay, so I have something for you for being so polite and putting up with my speed talking. So I put together a little like a cultural diversity project or sort of thing that you can do with your students. In American schools, we have this thing that kids do where they put together this collage of the things they like, usually like kindergarten, first, second grade. And they'll like cut out pictures from magazines and they'll paste them all on a paper. And it's all about them, like what they like, kittens and puppies and Superman and ice cream or whatever. So I figured out a way we can do that with our students as kind of a way to show them that we value them as individuals. So here is my cultural diversity, all about me digital project. This is one I made for Elsa, the very first time I decided to make one. You remember Elsa, my McDonald's fan?
Yes.
So this is the one I made for her. So the first time I didn't know very much about her. I just knew what food she liked. That's really all I knew, and that her favorite color was pink. That's all I knew. So I put this one together. And so I started keeping notes on all of my students. I have a little index cards with all of my students' names on them. And I just jot down little notes as they say things during class. If they say something like, my favorite color is blue, I'm jotting it down so that I remember these things. So the next one I made for Elsa was this one because I knew a little more about her. What do you think I learned about Elsa between picture 1 and picture 2? What did I learn?
She's sweet.
She's sweet. That's good. I love it. Yes, that's true. She's very sweet. She's always going like this. She is very sweet. What else do you think I learned? Oh, I can't hear you.
Oh, she likes pink.
She likes pink. Yes. What else?
She likes you.
She likes me. I hope so. She likes rabbits and butterflies. So I added rabbits and butterflies to the picture. I also tried to add a little more fun with the big emoji. I found a whole bunch of these crazy emojis online. Ah, they're funny. And this is one of the girls really like this one with the pink bow. So I try not to use the same one in the same class because I don't want, Elsa and Sunny to have the same picture. Because then so I change it up. But this is made in PowerPoint. Do you have PowerPoint? Do any of you have PowerPoint? Are you familiar with it? That's all I do is I put this together in PowerPoint. I go online and I find vector images without the backgrounds, and I just drop them in a slide, and then I save each slide as a picture or a PDF, and then I can drop them in the chat box and send them to the kids. They love them. I have one class that's constantly resharing them during lessons, popping them back into the chat box to each other. I've also used them to get the kids talking to each other. It's not easy to get the children to talk to each other without saying, Elsa, ask Tiger what his favorite color is. But when I do this, I can kind of say, okay, everybody, what's Tiger's favorite color? And all these pictures are in the chat box. So they can all jump in and say he likes blue. And then all of a sudden Tiger might come in and say something to them when they say something to him. So it's a good way to spur conversation, and it builds some camaraderie between the students because they talk to each other, and I can use them as discussion starters with the kids. And that's my whole presentation.